Raise your hand if you asked yourself the following question. Why be moral? Well, I believe that most of us have asked ourselves this question. And around 50% of us in this room today or in the SAS community have actually taken that to the extreme. They've said that morality is weak. And let's take a step back for a moment. 50%, that's a pretty big number. But just because many people believe in something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So let's talk about a few things that, for example, I've heard. Story 1. Why do I exist? What is the meaning? What is morality? Plants and animals do not have this kind of thing. So the origin of this kind of thing is only one, the logic of the weak, trying to protect themselves and justify their weakness. That's a pretty bold statement. Story 2. It feels good that in 100 years, no one will remember or know us, so everything I do wrong now, is irrelevant. Well, have you heard something similar before? Probably. These sound strangely familiar. But all of them sound reasonable and just at first, because why bother being moral when morality is but a figment of the mind? And why bother being moral when immorality is ephemeral? It passes and is forgotten. Well, why bother is the question I'm trying to answer in my TEDx today. And I'm going to be answering this through 3 points. Firstly, where does morality avoidance stem from? What is the flaw of morality avoidance? How does it harm others? And how does it harm ourselves? And finally, I'll propose a way forward that makes us stronger, not weaker. So, why do people avoid being moral? Number 1, freedom from consequences. Why is this true? Well, let's think about it for a second. Morality asserts that certain actions are immoral, certain things are immoral, and immorality is inherently negative, and that people should not do things that are immoral. That means that since you do something immoral, you will feel guilt, and guilt is a negative consequence that people don't like. Now, secondly, the blinding pursuit of worldly desires. Now, let's be honest here. This world we live in is full of distractions right now. And that also means that we are constantly chasing things like money, recognition, power, right? And that's something that requires a lot of actions. And often, the most effective way to achieve these material benefits is immoral action. Now, let's just see some few examples of how you can get material benefits from immoral actions. Exploitation of trust and gossip, exaggerated or false marketing, or plagiarism. These are all immoral actions, yet they're also often the most effective way, the most easy way to get what you want. Now, the simple way in which you get rid of this guilt and you get rid of these obstacles that you see as morality, because you see morality as an obstacle rather than as a foundation, is to simply deny its existence as a whole. And so, then what is the flaw of morality avoidance? Well, the problem here is that morality isn't just some set of rules that society imposed upon us. It's actually grounded in ourselves, in our very biology. According to Frank D. Wall in his book, Good Natured, who is a famous primatologist, morality is as firmly grounded in our neurobiology as anything else we do or are. So let's think about it for a second. Morality isn't just something that society places upon us. It's actually part of who we are. And when we neglect morality, we neglect ourselves. And so when we asked the question, do you think morality is weak? Around 50% responded yes. Also, when we said, should we neglect our inherent nature? Only 25 people said no. Only 25 people said yes. And that means there's a contradiction here. And actually, morality avoidance goes against that inherent nature. And so, let's just demonstrate this for a second. We all recognize that these were immoral actions instinctively. We didn't need a morality encyclopedia in order to help us judge whether these were immoral actions. No, we knew it as soon as we saw them. And so, let's reverse the narrative for a second. What is truly weak? Is it really to have morality and to avoid it? To do what's wrong even when you know what's right? Or is it actually to accept your sense of right and wrong, your knowledge of right and wrong, and to actually follow through with it? Because it's not just knowing what's right, but actually doing what's right. If we don't do what's right when we know what's right, we let guilt eat up in our minds like unacknowledged parasites. And because moral guidelines, they exist whether we suppress them or not. Guilt exists whether we suppress it or not. And so, it'll eat up our minds like unacknowledged parasites when you don't acknowledge them. But what is the benefit? Well, according to Immanuel Kant, morality is not the doctrine of how we make ourselves happy, but how we make ourselves worthy of happiness. But to be truthful with y'all, it's not just being worthy of happiness, but it can also make you happy yourself. Because when we believe ourselves worthy of happiness, we'll permit ourselves to be truly happy. According to Andrew Miles, a researcher at the University of Toronto, there's significant research on how care-based moral behavior, such as doing something nice for a friend or donating to a charity, can make you feel good. And so, now that we've reversed the narrative, let's think about how to move forward, the solution. Well, firstly, when you go back home, identify which immoral habits you've let go on for too long, simply because you denied the importance and the relevance of morality. Simply because you said, in 100 years, someone will forget me, and morality is weak. Identify these immoral habits and seek to stop them. Seek to halt them. And at the end of that process, you might not have a clean slate, a tabula rasa, but you'll at least have a usable slate. One that you can use in order to help you. And so, how do we help more people than just ourselves after this presentation? Well, spread the word, right? When you see someone spreading this false narrative of the weakness of morality, stop them. And try to spread the idea of your inherent morality, how we've all evolved morality in order to support each other in the way we should be supported. And therefore, you'll spread this idea against the negative chain reaction of morality avoidance. Instead, let us all embrace morality the way we should. Thank you.